About the Browns, Kevin Stefanski why do you do that? Why do you just come out and say, hey, this is cool?
I'm out.
I'll tell you why.
Why do you just say this is first rookie since when to win their
1995 to win their debut for the Browns.
And I know he didn't go for 300 or whatever, and stats are tough. We're trying to find, it's hard to find all that, but still, at quarterback, the position, the vibe, to win a game like that, especially for Cleveland. Now, granted, he's saying a lot of things that people are like, relax, okay, you need to relax. But that's not Shedeur. That is not what Shedeur.
When Pat McAfee decided to break down what's happening inside the Cleveland Browns organization, he didn't hold back. McAfee laid bare a conversation that's been brewing behind the scenes, one that reveals a fundamental disconnect between what Kevin Stefanski wants and what ownership is forcing him to do. After watching Shedeur Sanders lead the Browns to a convincing win over the Raiders, McAfee went on an absolute tear about the coaching philosophy that's threatening to waste a generational talent before his career even gets started.
Shedeur is going to be your number 2 active quarterback for this weekend yet?
Well, first I'd tell you is the Joe trade took us by surprise. That was not something that we saw coming. They called us, and it happened very fast and happened not too long ago. So still working through all roster type of things. I always have to be mindful of our players and our players' development, and I want to make sure that I'm always doing what's best for our players and, of course, our team. But, with young players, I'm always thinking about last week making the change to Dylan. You have to think long and hard about that, because these are young players that you're so invested in their development. So I'll let the week play out and make a decision.
Let's be honest. Kevin Stefanski doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. And more importantly, he has an agenda against him. This isn't speculation. This isn't fan conspiracy theories. This is a pattern of behavior so obvious that even casual observers can't miss it anymore. When you have a rookie quarterback stepping into his first NFL, start with the weight of a 30-year championship drought on his shoulders. You'd expect the head coach to be ooh-ing on his development. Instead, Stefanski seems determined to prove that Sanders doesn't belong, that the kid from Colorado was a reach, that he needs to earn his stripes, that maybe, just maybe, he's not the answer Cleveland has been desperately searching for.
The keys is his. I think he is the future quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, yesterday after the game, Kevin Stefanski didn't want to give Shedeur Sanders his praise. He tried to undermine a lot of things that Shedeur Sanders did offensively and gave all the credit to the center, the blocking schemes, and the lights-out defense, and really didn't acknowledge the quarterback play of Shedeur being that first rookie on a historical performance to win in over 30-some years as a rookie starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns organization. Now, Kevin Stefanski just wrapped up his Zoom call for Monday, and they was asking him questions, and now he wants to come out to say that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback. I feel that Kevin Stefanski is feeling that pressure from Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry. We saw the footage of Andrew Berry in the locker room hugging Shedeur, and they had some words.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe. Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Stefanski has been made to start Shedeur Sanders. He didn't choose this. The higher-ups in the Cleveland Browns organization, Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam, basically forced his hand. When Dillon Gabriel suffered a concussion and Kenny Pickett found himself injured, the front office had already made it clear that if the situation demanded it, Sanders was going to get his opportunity. Stefanski wanted to ride it out with Joe Flacco or anybody else. He wanted to keep Sanders on the bench, keep him learning, keep him from proving that he might be better than what the coaching staff publicly acknowledged. But ownership had other ideas.
Stefanski should be fired. The fact that Shedeur Sanders went out there and looked as good as he did, and you never gave him chance, you never wanted him, you never gave him reps with the ones, and he looked like that with just 1 week of reps with the ones, and you get to the podium and you don't even commit to him as the quarterback going forward. But even when Dillon Gabriel stunk it up game after game after game, Dillon Gabriel stunk it up. You always went to the podium, even before watching the film after the game, and said, oh, Dillon's the guy, Dillon's gonna be starting. But when it comes to Shedeur, you don't want him starting no matter what. This is crazy.
And that's where the real animosity started. Stefanski doesn't appreciate being overruled. He doesn't appreciate having a young quarterback. He's thrust into a starting role when he'd rather maintain his carefully constructed quarterback room hierarchy. He'd rather keep Sanders as a depth piece, someone who gets occasional reps and minimal expectations. But the front office looked at what happened in the preseason, looked at what scouts were saying, and looked at what the team desperately needed. A spark, and they said, no. Kevin, this kid is getting his shot.
Pick a fresh rookie quarterback right before his first ever start. He's getting a pregame interview. I don't know if that's ever happened for anybody ever before or would ever happen again. And she goes, what are you trying to prove or show here to your fans, your team, and everything? I'm who they've been waiting for, or something like that. It's what a fucking bar right there, right before you go out there. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated with him. I'm not saying they're going to win next week. What I am saying, though, is felt like Stefanski just... There wasn't a single moment of like, that was a good moment for our team. Why is that? A lot of people are wondering that, Shefty.
Pat McAfee couldn't believe how dismissive Stefanski has been throughout this entire process. Here's a rookie quarterback who just accomplished something that hadn't happened in 30 years. His own head coach won't even acknowledge it properly. The man orchestrated a 24-10 victory over the Raiders, a team that passed on him 7 different times in the NFL draft. 7 times. 7 different opportunities for the Raiders to bring Shedeur Sanders into their organization. They said no every single time. The Raiders had every opportunity to draft Shedeur Sanders. They were connected to him for months leading up to the draft. They had the picks. They had the need. They had every reason to bring him into their organization. But they looked at him, weighed their options, and decided that other quarterbacks were better options. Other teams were better options. 31 other franchises said no to him before Cleveland finally called his name at 144th overall.
Stefanski was pretty much forced to name Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback moving forward for the foreseeable future, at least for this 49ers game. Now, I'm here to tell you, many Cleveland insiders and people in the media is kind of telling what went on behind the scenes and actually making this thing happen. Now, we know Dillon Gabriel went out a few weeks ago with concussion protocol, and me personally, I feel like Dillon Gabriel never really set the stage showing us that he was better than Shedeur. We all know Shedeur Sanders was supposed to have been a first-round quarterback. Me personally, no disrespect to Cam Ward, Shedeur was obviously better than him, been better than him, and why he didn't go number 1 overall lets me know it had to be some off the field.
That's the reality that makes this whole situation so fascinating. Shedeur Sanders fell further than expected. Not because he couldn't play quarterback, not because he lacked the physical tools or the mental capacity, but because there were doubts that had nothing to do with his actual ability to play professional football. Perhaps it was perceived personality issues. Perhaps it was concerns about his off-field behavior or how he carried himself. Perhaps it was the usual noise that surrounds high-profile draft prospects who come from high-profile backgrounds. Whatever the reason, Shedeur had to watch as team after team passed on him. The Raiders especially sting, because they were reportedly interested in him for so long, only to decide against it when it mattered most.
Interviews, right? And look how he talks about Shedeur. It be so quick, so general, so broad. Like, dog, everybody's waiting to see what this kid can do. You had guys on this platform, that platform, this podcast, this station talking bad about him, right? And then he gets a chance to start. They ain't win in months. Then they finally win. And he gives him love like that.
And now that Shedeur has gone out and proven exactly what he's capable of, where is the credit? Where is the validation? Where is the head coach saying, I was wrong? This kid is special? Instead, you get Stefanski talking about development and evaluation and not getting ahead of ourselves. Meanwhile, the man just won his first NFL start as a rookie, became the first Browns quarterback since 1995 to accomplish that feat, and threw the longest completion by a Browns quarterback all season. That's not luck. That's not a fluke. That's a player making plays when it matters most. Shedeur Sanders didn't just meet expectations against the Raiders, he exceeded them by a margin so significant that pretending otherwise becomes insulting to anyone who watched the game. Why?
No, definitively, for those of us like myself that has been paying attention, that has been watching Shedeur since he was in college, is that he's a phenomenal football player and he can definitely read plays going down the field. Shedeur Sanders make plays getting down the football field. That was something Dillon Gabriel lacked. That was something we did not see Dillon Gabriel do, ever. Like, we got to clear the air there, ever. We did not see Dillon Gabriel move the ball down the field, ever.
Why would Kevin Stefanski choose not to embrace this? Why wouldn't he want to ride the momentum of a young quarterback who's clearly got talent, poise, and the kind of charisma that builds fan bases? The answer is more telling than anything Stefanski could say in a press conference. McAfee believes it comes down to ego and control. Stefanski wanted to build his own quarterback. He wanted someone he could develop from scratch, mold in his image, and claim credit for when that quarterback eventually succeeded. Shedeur Sanders doesn't fit that narrative. Sanders came in with a famous last name, expectations already sky high, a father sitting in the stands, who happens to be one of the greatest athletes to ever live. That's not the blank canvas Stefanski wanted to work with. That's a situation where if things go well, Sanders will get the credit. If things go poorly, everyone will blame the kid or his father or the distractions that come with that level of notoriety.
I'm going to take my time and do what's best for the football team.
So he's talking about taking his time when it comes to, hey, is Shedeur start next week after the show we saw today? Oh, now he got to take his time. When it came to Dillon Gabriel, he ain't need to take no.
My focus is on today. It does give me the opportunity to talk about another quarterback.
Oh, what? They asked him about Shedeur, and he said about Shedeur starting going forward, and he says, oh, well, I don't know because my focus is on today. But it does give me an opportunity to talk about another quarter. Like, man, this dude is a phony. This dude is a clown. He does not want Shedeur to win and succeed. He's going back to Dillon Gabriel, man. Y'all need to fire this dude immediately.
Watch what happens when Dillon Gabriel comes back healthy, and he will come back. Gabriel might not be the best quarterback on the roster, but he's the one Stefanski preferred. He's the one who fits the mold of a quarterback the coaching staff believes in. He's the quarterback Stefanski was allegedly ready to ride into battle before ownership stepped in and said, absolutely not. When Gabriel returns from his injury, and his injury wasn't some career-threatening thing. It was a concussion that will heal. There will be a sudden change in the depth chart. But what it will really be is Stefanski reasserting control over the situation he never wanted to lose in the first place. And that would be absolutely inexcusable if it happens. Because Shedeur Sanders just proved he can win in the NFL. He didn't just manage a game. He didn't just avoid disasters. He led multiple scoring drives and showed the kind of poise and decision-making that separates quality NFL quarterbacks from the pretenders.
Raiders defense is atrocious. And I'm not taking it away from Shedeur, but I like the fact he did it on the Raiders, who passed over him 7 different times in the NFL draft. 7 different times the Raiders felt that they were better off without Shedeur Sanders, despite being connected there for so many months leading into the draft. He found a way. He's going to start and he's going to go up against the Niners. And we could keep on doing this whataboutism. Let's not do that. He did it yesterday. He won the game and he looked good. And that pass to Bond is as good as any that the Browns have completed all season long.
If Shedeur Sanders comes off the bench and wins games, which he just did against the Raiders, but then loses significant playing time, the moment another quarterback becomes available, what message does that send? What does it say about the organization's priorities? What does it tell a young, talented player about whether his performances actually matter, or whether there are predetermined outcomes regardless of what happens on the field? The Raiders connection can't be overlooked either. Shedeur Sanders went out and absolutely dismantled the team that didn't believe in him. They passed on him repeatedly. And then when it mattered most, when Shedeur got his opportunity to prove what 7 draft passes meant, he responded with a dominant performance that showed everyone exactly why those teams made a massive mistake. He was pressured on 12 of his dropbacks against the Raiders and still managed to stay composed, complete crucial passes in tight windows, and lead his team to a convincing victory. He showed the kind of resilience and football intelligence that separates NFL quarterbacks from pretenders.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Coming up here before y'all, 6-7 months ago, I couldn't tell you I'll be here. You know, God, the only way I'm able to even get through everything, you know. Being able to see my family, that was important, and I'm happy that I was here to be able to witness it.
Shedeur threw for 138 yards in his debut, completing 14 of 23 passes and 2 touchdowns. Those aren't spectacular numbers on the surface, but the context matters. He was a fourth-string rookie thrown into a starting role with minimal preparation. He was working with a game plan that relied heavily on the running game. He was getting pressured constantly because the Raiders' defense was hunting him. And despite all that, he managed to be efficient, effective, and most importantly, winning. That's what separates good quarterbacks from great ones. When he scrambles out of pressure and turns negative plays into positive yards, when he leads multiple touchdown drives and manages the game, like he's been in the league for 5 years, that's not something you respond to with vague notions about plenty of work too. That's something you acknowledge as special. That's something you build around.
So that's the best ball that they've had in 2 decades, they said, actually.
Forgot Bomb was there.
Certainly mean exactly as he catches. I'm like, oh yeah, very fast. I'm happy they're using him. That's good news. And to your point about the energy, it's like just
real
caring at all about a Cleveland Browns game felt good for me. Just caring at all about what the outcome was. And then him getting and we talked about this in the first hour, and you're an on-field reporter like pretty regularly at this point.
That was a gift to Tiffany Blackman, but go on, because he was so good in these interviews.
Yes, he was afterwards, but also right before his first ever start as a 5th-round rookie. Somebody had to approve of that, right? Like the Browns had to approve of that.
The longest completion by a Browns quarterback all season came from Shedeur Sanders in his first start. Think about that. A rookie 4th on the depth chart through the longest completion of the entire season. The receivers didn't get significantly better. The offensive line didn't suddenly become elite. The weapons didn't change. What changed was the quarterback under center, and he immediately produced the most impressive throw we'd seen all year. That's not a coincidence. That's not random occurrence. The kid proved he could handle pressure. He proved he could make throws in critical moments. He proved he could be trusted with games on the line. And yet Stefanski's response was to essentially hedge his bets, refusing to commit to anything, treating the breakthrough performance like it was another day at the office. That's not leadership. That's not good coaching. That's a head coach protecting his own ego. At the expense of his team's future,
I'm going to need Kevin to come out here and do the same thing, keep the same energy that he's been having with Dylan Gabriel. Just like when Dylan was out here and it didn't look so great, and you was trotting out there in your post game and saying, hey, that's my starting quarterback next week. You need to go out there and you need to tell the media, like, without any hesitation, Shedeur Sanders is my starting quarterback next week against the San Francisco 49ers.
That's it.
Anything outside of that, man, you BSing us, you BSing your team, everybody else. Don't play the games, right?
Yeah.
Don't play the mind games with the opponent, none of that, because you ain't do that with Dylan Gabriel. Come out here after this man just did what he did and let everybody know this is your starting quarterback.
The 30-year wait for a rookie quarterback to win a game in his debut start is now over. Shedeur Sanders ended that drought. The conversation shouldn't be about whether he's ready. The conversation shouldn't be about whether he needs more development. The conversation should be about how quickly the organization can get him into a position to succeed consistently. But instead, Kevin Stefanski is still hedging, still protecting his predetermined depth chart, still acting like the performance didn't happen or didn't mean anything. This is sabotage, whether intentional or not. It's the systematic undermining of a young talent by a coaching staff that never wanted him in the first place. It's a head coach who would rather be proven right about his original evaluation than give a young quarterback a fair shot at proving what he's capable of.